Hey everybody, how's everyone doing? This reaction is coming a little late, but the news surrounding this film coming out on HBO Max has been around for it's been how many years now? But Zack Snyder's Justice League, his cut of the film is coming to HBO Max, which would be another streaming service. But I guess this is kind of like their big draw to get people into the streaming platform. But there was a sneak peek released for Zack Snyder's Justice League. I think reports said that Jason Momoa put it onto his Instagram first. But let's take a look. Yeah, there has been a lot of buzz about it, so let's take a look.
The bell's already been rung, and they've heard it
It's Lex Luthor's voice, I think.
out in the dark among the stars. Ding dong, the god is dead.
Dark Side. There he is. Alright, so if you don't know what Zack Snyder's Justice League is, very briefly, after the release of the theatrical release of Justice League, it was poorly received critically because production troubles. Like Zack Snyder was suffering from a family tragedy. I won't get into that, but he had to step down from the project, even though the film wasn't really completed yet. So Warner Brothers and their executives brought in Joss Whedon, the director of the first two Avengers films. I guess they thought that he was a good fit because of the way he handled those Marvel ensemble films. But to everyone's, I guess, disappointment, Zack Snyder's original vision was kind of left by the wayside, and the film was became like a clashing of two visions, and there were a lot of reshoots and a lot of like things to kind of maybe lighten the mood, and it kind of made the film just like a Frankenstein's monster kind of situation where you have a lot of things that were done that were filmed already, but maybe a lot of things added into it or omitted or maybe rearranged to make a film that kind of met the demands of the studio. As we all know, like it was like about 2 hours, and I don't I think that was one of the things that the studio wanted the film to be, so that it wouldn't be too long, or people would think that it's too boring or too long. But it's just an unfortunate situation. But after the film, a few months after the film, people were using a hashtag called "Release the Snyder Cut" because Zack Snyder had heavily hinted at how his his version of the film still existed, but it was just unfinished. Um, and so "Release the Snyder Cut" was a popular hashtag, and it was just this fan campaign to get Zack Snyder's original vision of his film out there. Um, and funnily enough, a few weeks ago, it was announced that Zack Snyder's Justice League, I think that's the official kind of like moniker that they're giving to it, is going to be released on HBO Max. I'm not too sure if it's going to be the whole film, or if they're going to split it, or if it's going to like be cut out into different parts like a series. But the fact of the matter is, fans are gonna get what they want, but they have to put their money where their mouth is. For people who wanted this Snyder cut, they're gonna have to subscribe to HBO Max for it. And I think it's coming in 2021. But the crazy thing is that I don't know if it's the studio that caved, but it's more, as I've seen around the internet discussing this, it's more a business decision because HBO Max, from what I've heard, it doesn't have the greatest amount of content, and this could be like one of the driving things to get people to subscribe. So it's interesting. For me though, I didn't really campaign hard for it. I was actually very curious if the Snyder Cut would actually be put out there, but I'm kind of glad that it's coming back out because for as high concept of Zack Snyder's films were in the DC universe. Um, and maybe it kind of went over my head a little bit, and maybe it was a little too dark at times. I still rather enjoyed his films: Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Edition, and I was kind of sad to see how Justice League, Zack Snyder's original vision for Justice League, was kind of just ignored or like kind of edited to the point where it wasn't even much there anymore. Because originally Justice League was supposed to be split into two parts. The first was kind of like, I guess, introducing the team, whereas the second one was probably going to introduce Darkseid, who it appears now is like the ultimate baddie or the villain that's going to be, um, or the villain that's going to be in this version of Justice League. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm I'm kind of hesitant to subscribe to HBO Max, but maybe when it comes out, if there's a free trial, I'll do it. But we'll see. But I'm kind of cautiously optimistic because this could be one big shift in the film industry that could really affect things. I mean, obviously, studios and directors and producers aren't gonna always, listen to fan demands or anything like that. There was a big case with that for the Sonic movie, but ultimately, this is going to be an interesting wait and see kind of approach because if HBO Max doesn't get the support it gets or that it will get from releasing the Snyder Cut or Zack Snyder's Justice League, then it will set a precedent either for fans to have more input or for studios to ignore them outright. So we'll see how it goes. But I know a lot of people either want or don't want this cut of the film. But what do you want? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you kind of someone who wanted to see Zack Snyder's original vision, or are you someone who just couldn't care less? Let me know what you think about this whole situation. Uh, but are you gonna subscribe to HBO Max? I feel like content-wise, they have to kind of consolidate and kind of like coordinate with like other streaming services like DC Universe and like um, all the other platforms that HBO already has. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm just rambling. But thank you for watching this video. Thanks for hanging out. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video.